Hey guys, it's Parker here, back with part, I believe this is part 13, right? Right, okay. I think this is part 13, yeah, it is part 13, okay. We're continuing talking to Mr. Hairbrain over here, and this is Otto's back. Like, hi, this is Otto. That's right, Mr. Asa introduced him to me a year ago. He's a man by the name of Enoch Drebler, Drebber! It's been a week since I played this game, so like I may be a bit rusty, so forgive me if that's the case. Does this name mean something? Members of the jury seem flustered.
Now the name many scientists wishes to hear. That man's an abomination.
Not the name any conjure witches to we're here either. Who on earth is he?
I'm afraid this isn't the first tale of this nature that I've heard in scientific circles in connection with that name. There's talk of other flamboyant experiences that turn out to be nothing but stage trickery in the end. Obviously, the rap goes after the government's research grant money.
When magicians are in need of money, I've heard of them resorting to these underhand tactics. Some acquaintances of mine with experience of such things have mentioned Enoch Drebler's name before.
The man is both an engineer and a magician. Yes, we're dealing with an unparalleled competence sector here. That's enough Drebler from you.
So it's true then. My invention, my great machine, it was just a grand illusion? Considering what we just heard from Mr. Drebler's character, I'm sorry to say that sounds increasingly likely. Oh wait, let me just move everything to the right a bit. Even though no one else believed it, I wanted to. I wanted to believe that machine would function exactly as my hypothesis predicted. Which is why you're so opposed to it being investigated, I presume. I knew that the machine was examined in detail, its construction would give away my hypothesis. Obviously, I didn't want that to happen, but at the same time, I knew that it was found to be nothing more than a trick, than a work of deception, then everything I worked towards, all my research, all my dreams, my whole life would be over. I was terrified at the prospect. So you really had no idea then, did you? About the true nature of the machine that was built, and the true nature of Mr. Drebler. I never questioned anything. I didn't want to question it. It's entirely possible that Mr. Asma and Mr. Drebler... Okay, so there's no construction work going on outside? Hopefully y'all don't hear that. We're working together to use you as a means of fraudulently acquiring the research grant money. When I announced my invention to Cross that day, it was the finest moment of my career. I pulled all the levers and turned all the dials exactly the way Drebler had described. So it's not really yours. Drebler's the one who made all of it. When the smoke suddenly started billowing out, I panicked. I didn't know what was happening. But I really don't know how the whole illusion was made to work. I don't know anything anymore. Let me confirm one final point with you, Professor. Do you now consent to the prosecution submitting the necessary paperwork to release your invention for the protection afforded by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act? Yes, please go ahead. I'm very sorry.
It would appear that we shall have to suspend proceedings the remainder of the day now. Lord Van Zeeks,
My lord.
the court has newly been made aware of another party's involvement in this matter is critical.
Yes, Mr. Drebler.
Gather information about the man if possible. I should like him served with a subpoena.
With pleasure, my lord.
Now, counsel for the defense.
Yes, my lord.
When we reconvene, I should be looking for one thing and one thing alone from you. Evidence.
that the defendant is innocent of the crime for which he personally stands accused. I understand. Good. In that case, this court is adjourned until tomorrow morning. Whap. Mr. Naruhodo, yes? I'm so sorry. I was wrong. You're right. I tricked you. You trusted me. I dragged you into my mess. Oh, how did it ever come to this? I'm so sorry. Did you really have no idea, Professor? About what Mr. Jumper was really up to? I mean, about what he was really constructing? Naturally, that machine was embodying my hypothesis of all my hopes and dreams. I had complete faith in it. Alright, in that case, I won't say anymore. Now, sadly, the murder accusation against you still stands, so we must do as much investigation as we can before the trial resumes tomorrow. Oh, thank you for doing so much for me. Susato! I'm so sorry for arriving late this morning, Mr. Naruhodo. Arriving late? Did you receive my postcard? I wanted to let you know when I arrive. Postcard? What postcard? I hid it from you, Runo, so it'll be a surprise. Why? Well, did it work? I was surprised, alright, especially when she threw me to the ground. Oh dear, I'm so sorry. I was just so happy to see you again that it sort of slipped out. Maybe you could stick to more traditional displays of emotion in the future? Like maybe a handshake or a hug? Susie's train was late into London Victoria this morning, you see. But he made the culture really wet the horse's heart so she didn't miss the whole trial, the poor horsies. I was watching for the gallery for a while, but in the end, I'm afraid I couldn't contain myself. Well, I'm glad he didn't. Oh, having you at my side in court gives me the strength I need to win, so I'm, delighted to see you back in London. Oh, you're too kind, Miss Naruhodo. I'm delighted to be here. I hope I can continue to be of service to you. Of course. So, what's brought you back? Did Professor Mikotoba not protest? Let's save all the conversation for when we're back at home, shall we? You know, I made one of my most special blends ever for this special occasion. Oh, Iris, how wonderful! I can't wait. I forgot to voice Otto. Susato sounds back in London. It's hard to describe how happy that made me feel at the time, but despite my elation, our tale is about to take yet an extraordinary turn. To be continued. I'll actually continue that. Oh, this room. It's been too long. It has changed the slightest though. And it's missing 6 months, hasn't it? That's a long time for things to stay so familiar. I didn't know when you might return. I wanted everything to be as you left it, but it has been some 6 months, it's true. So is your father alright, Susie? What happened? My father? Yes, Professor Mikotoba. I mean, it was a half a year ago, but that's why you went back to Japan, because the telegram we received saying you've fallen ill with a very high fever for some unknown reason. That's right. So I was surprised to learn you'd be coming back so soon. Surprised but happy. I think I wrote about it in my letter to you. That was all a trick. My father's in fine health. I'm obviously very relieved about that. Well, we're all delighted to have you back. It was quite by accident that I've been able to return to Europe, actually. It's because of a very grand conference called the International Forensic Science Symposium. The International Forensic... It's the same symposium Lord Starheart mentioned. Anyway, I've arrived safe and sound, and all that matters is that I'm here now. After all, I haven't yet fulfilled my promise to you, Iris. Oh! You must tell us everything that happened while you're back in Japan. Yes, of course, I shall. And just one other thing. Something you wrote in your letter that particularly grabbed my attention about, you know who, about Kazuma. You know, I'm kind of thinking Baroque's apprentice is Kazuma? But I don't know, that's not possible because Kazuma died. But he does like remind me of Kazuma in some way. Cause like I went back to my own video like while editing it, I'm like, he kind of reminds me of Kazuma. Okay, anyway. When I first arrived back in Japan, I really thought I'd never be allowed to return to Britain. But curiously, after that awful trial of the Supreme Court, Father's mood changed entirely. The awful trial? Oh yes. For the murder of Giselle Brett. Oh, you dressed as a man, didn't you, Susie? Oh, well, yes. Since women are forbidden in the courtroom, I had no choice. Wow, amazing! I wish I'd seen it, don't you, Bruno? Yes, I suppose so. I want to play at being a lawyer now. I could wear a false mustache, maybe. I don't think any mustache could hide the fact that you're just 10 years old, Iris. There's something else I've been wanting to ask you, Mrs. Otto. It's about the real reason why Professor Makoto summoned you back into Japan. It's in your letter was nothing to do with the conflict loot we found in Mr. Natsuma's lodgings. That's right, the very large dog collar we found with the bee emblem in it, fire emblem? It seems Mr. Natsuma included a drawing of the collar in the report he submitted about his time in Britain. I understand that when Father saw the report, he turned as white as a sheet. Why would that be then? Father came to Britain himself, of course, to study. It was some time ago now, but he stayed for 6 years. I can only imagine that something must have happened during that time. I mean, 6 years is a long ass time. But if he refuses to tell me what it is, then I intend to find the answers for myself. I have decided that I, for one, won't keep any more secrets. Oh, Susie, you're gonna talk? That's a very meaningful look Susato-san's giving Iris there. You're gonna talk about what was it? It hurt the manuscript that Iris made that Susato knew about even though it wasn't published. Lord Sara mentioned something about the symposium too. I think he said that investigating authorities from 40 different countries would attend. Yes, and for Japan, my father and Judge Goku have been invited. It's something of an honor, I believe. Well, Professor Makoto is the leading expert for forensic medicine in our country after all. But who's the other person you mentioned? A judge, did you say? Yes, His Excellency Judge Seishiro Jigoku. You met him, Mr. Naruhodo. Last year in the Supreme Court. You can't possibly have forgotten. The dude with the beard. He has a pretty nice beard. Like, honest, I'd be happy to never see that man's face again in my life. Oh, well, anyway. As Father was invited to the symposium, he agreed to me returning to Britain too. He won't actually arrive until next month, but, well, I couldn't wait. So I pleaded with him, and in the end he agreed to me going on ahead. Yes, about the symposium. It seems as though Lord Sara has put in an awful lot of work to make it happen. It's obviously very important. I believe it is, yes. As I understand it, Lord Sara organized the entire event himself. I think he's hoping that by achieving exceptional results, he'll get the job of Attorney General, the most senior position in the British justice system. He's hoping to use his power to create the world's finest policing institution. That's what Father said anyway. Apparently it's Lord Sara's lifelong ambition. Does Professor Makoto know Lord Sara personally, then I wonder? Actually, Lord Sara gave me a long speech all about this very subject only yesterday. So I sort of lost the will to live early on and didn't really listen too much of it. How trying for you. It was like 203. Giselle Brett. The woman whose unforgivable actions ended me being wrongly accused of a crime I didn't commit. The murder of Dr. John H. Wilson. Yes, Giselle Brett. That's the name I won't forget for as long as I live. The extraordinary thing is, though, it seems his name we should all forget. Sorry? Since the incident, our government's intelligence services have been investigating Miss Brett. But it turned out that the Englishwoman by the name of Giselle Brett didn't actually exist? Didn't exist? But how can it be? Is she a freaking spy or something? It was a pseudonym. Her real name was Shin. And she wasn't a visiting student either. That was a front? A front? Who on earth was she then? Miss A. Shin. Her name is literally all our intelligence services have been able to ascertain about her. Wasn't the name Shin in that secret message at the last case in Great Ace Attorney 1? Holy shit, like everything is like... What I like about Ace Attorney is that everything comes to full circle. Like every person we meet, like every case we go through, like everything comes to full circle. Nobody knows why or even how she came to be in Japan. It's a complete mystery. But that makes no sense. It's no easy task to be accepted as a foreign student everywhere, anywhere. What could the moon have been up to? She's a freaking spy. I'm afraid I really don't know. Don't think you'd be sure of. It's that she has some business in our country that we don't yet understand. And now she's been killed, while all the questions surrounding her existence remain unanswered. I'm afraid so. A. Shin. Who on earth was she? And why do I feel as though I heard that name before somewhere? And the secret code! And the secret messages! What about Kazuma? After my friend Ray's trial, the reporter who actually killed Miss Brett says something very strange. Obviously, I couldn't ask him to elaborate at the time. But later, I visited a man in his prison cell and asked him what he was going to say about Kazuma-sama. And what did you learn? After he died on the voyage to Great Britain, his body should have been unladed at the port of Hong Kong and passed through the care of the consulate staff there. Should have been? Well, it turns out that his body never arrived. It's just disappeared? What? Kazuma's body vanished? Our government tried to cover the fact up scenes, they erected a grave on the cliffs by our hometown. Except Kazuma-sama isn't there. Did Professor Muratomo know about this? Yes, it would seem that he did, but he didn't tell me. They're still investigating what happened to Kazuma-sama's body as we speak. I just don't believe it. And what is this acute feeling of apprehension I have all of a sudden? Holy shit. Is the apprentice really Kazuma? Oh my god, like I don't know. Thinking back now, some of the things that happened at the SS Buria were definitely strange. I mean, after he died, we never saw his body again, did we? Yeah, we didn't. He just disappeared. Could it be that he's actually still alive? Stop it, Miss Naruto. It's too much to bear. Oh my god, what if he's Bugs' apprentice? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Just thinking about the possibility pains me so very much. Cast your mind back for a moment, Miss Naruto. When Kazuma-sama was discovered, Mr. Jones was there, wasn't he? And he definitely examined the body. I remember it clearly. Ah, you're right. So Kazuma hadn't actually be dead at all. It would mean that Mr. Jones had lied to us. But there's no reason why he would possibly have done such a thing. I suppose that's true, yes. So how long was Kazuma knocked out if he wasn't dead? The idea that he might still be alive somewhere and wants to fill me hope, but I can't let it because it turned out not to be true. Oh my god, he's Fancy's apprentice. Like, his mouth and his nose looks exactly like Kazuma. Let me look at the court record of people. Yeah, this... He has the air of a completely unassailable man. Yeah, he looks like Kazuma. He even has freaking green ass eyes. Oh gosh, it's my crush. Anyway, but yeah, he looks like Kazuma. Y'all, I cracked it. Let's just like end the game here. Like this is it. Then I'd be back at the bottom of that awful pit of despair again. I'm terrified of what that might do to me. Oh, Mrs. Otto. I know she's given the idea that Otto deserves. It's the status that we're talking about after all. So I probably shouldn't push it now. Yeah, let's talk about it later. How about we examine? Hey Iris! It must be about a year ago now. I wrote a really long story based on some of my father's old notes. It's about one of Hurley's greatest exploits. I called it The Hound of the Baskervilles. But then Mr. Jones forbade you from publishing it, and put the manuscript somewhere nobody could get their hands on it. So nobody knows anything about it apart from Hurley and I, but for some reason, you knew the title of it, didn't you, Susie? Yep, she knew all about it. And you wouldn't tell me how I'd come to know it. Yes, but I made you promise that I would explain one day, didn't I? I think it's time. Oh. I'm only sorry I had to keep it from you for so long, Iris. The Hound of the Baskervilles. It was complete by accident that I came to know the title of your manuscript, Iris. It was a short while before I left Japan. I was cleaning Father's study, and I saw something on his writing desk. A large box of papers. There was a label affixed to the box that was written in English. It read, The Hound of the Baskervilles. What? My Baskervilles story? Of course, I had no idea what it was at the time, but Father came in and... Susato, what are you doing? Oh, but Father, did you look at those papers? No, I simply read the label, that's all. Well, put it out of your mind. Sorry? Forget that you ever saw it, and sorry, don't tell anybody else about this. Do you understand? What is going on here? But what was Iris' manuscript doing in Japan? I had no idea. But when I heard Iris mention the word Baskerville that day, the title just slipped out. I would never have guessed that it was an unpublished account of one of Mr. Shones' exploits. When I returned to Japan, I asked Father to explain, but he refused to answer any of my questions, and there was no sign of the big box in his office. That's really all I know about it. I've no doubt that Father has a very good reason for being so secretive about it, but still. I made up my mind to explain myself to both of you. Well, thank you for being so honest, Susie. So, Miss Narhart, I'm ready to start investigating if you are. I committed every detail about the case in memory. Of course you did. And Iris has told me about the disturbing happenings at the Waxwork Museum as well. So, you're truly abreast of the situation already, Mrs. Otto. I expected nothing less, 2BH. I would think our first protocol should be investigate this Mr. Jubber. The engineer responsible for building the elaborate machine that was used to effect this distorting trick. Yes, a conjurer of sorts by the sound of it, well known in the fields of science magic. Then we need to go and arrest him. Well, yes. He must know the truth about this case. So we agree we really do need to find a man. It sounds like it's a case of tracking someone down. It's a job for the police, or a great detective. Are you supposed to guess who she might be thinking of? Surely, it's not Sholmes. We don't have much time, so we need to get started straight away, I think. Good idea. Well, best of luck then. Oh, you're not coming today? I'm going to Brixton Road shortly for the herb market. But let me know later how you got on, won't you? Alright, bye. That was a little rough. The pull at the herb market must be strong. I guess we're going to investigate Miss Jubber at the museum. Yes, we get to meet the spells. Meanwhile, we've been raised to storm the Supreme Court adjudicature back in Japan. Please, Miss Naruhodo, I may have been dressed as a man, but it's a very reserved performance. So what your father said in his letter about a Ryutaro takedown is reserved? Well, anyway, I'm back in the great capital now. I'm ready to assist you again any way I can. Thank you, Mrs. Otto. It's my pleasure, Miss Naruhodo. Alright, let's go move! A new location has been added. I mean, I guess we'll go to experimentation state. Okay, wow, the construction outside is really loud, so I apologize in advance. So the puppy! Puppy! I had no idea there's so many people in the world. I know what you mean, it's really packed here today. It feels as though it's taken us 2 hours just to make our way through the crowds at this point. Has it? I shut my brain down, so I don't really know it's 2PH. Gosh, I do wish I had your absence of mind sometimes, Mr. Hardo. I mean, it's easy to have an absence of mind. You just gotta feel dead inside, and then you just think of nothing. For a pretty long ass time. There you are, I had a feeling you'll always show your mugs for long. The puppy! Oh, Inspector Gressa, you see your harder work as usual. A warm greetings to you. I do hope you've been keeping well since last we met. What's the little ceremony? You just saw each other in court this morning. Not you, Sunshine. The gentleman is solo at your side. Oh! Why thank you, Inspector. How good of you to notice. He might be a little rough around the edges, but he's still a proper English gentleman at heart, I suppose. As you probably guessed, we were hoping to investigate the scene some more. Right, well, that's the young trainee's domain. Oi! Get over here, Gina! The puppy! She seems to be busy playing with the puppy, probably giving a traditional East End training. It's so cute. Gina? She's a police officer now? Amazing, isn't it? She's a good kid, actually. Heart's in the right place anyway. She's got the detection bug, if you ask me. Yep, I think she'll follow my footsteps nicely. What do you mean? I'm being transferred. It's time for me to say toodaloo to London. Oh no, really? That's a bit sudden, isn't it? I had no idea. Where are you going to be posted then? We'll come to see how you're getting along. Haha, not likely, but you're welcome to try. If we made a trip to France, that is. To France? I'll be working at Paris Police Prefecture. Should be right up my alley. But France, it's an entirely different country. I don't understand why'd you be sent there. That's the way the adult world works, Sunshine. Now don't go poking your nose in where it's not wanted. I'm intending to take the kid with me when I go. What? You're taking Gina to Paris? Well, I can't leave her here in London. Who knows what would become of her? I suppose he's worried. She slipped back into slipping her hands to people's pockets and purses. I don't think he's worried about her pickpocketing, Mr. Naruto. I think he's worried about the Reaper. Oh, of course. So that's playing on Inspector Grex's mind too, is it? Anyway, I haven't mentioned any of this to Gina, so don't go blabbing, you hear me? No, of course not. I gotta keep that diving diva safe and sound, until all this is over at least. Oi! Did you just call me bloomin' diving diva again? So you heard that, did ya? Right, well, any questions about the scene, you can put it up to my capable detective diva here. He actually cares a lot about you, Gina. Alright, you heard the boss. Inspector Lestrade's in charge here now. I suppose I better keep my word and not mention anything about Paris. So, Gina, you got a new dog, have you? Oh my god! It's so cute! Isn't he great? Toby's his name. Toby! Oh, how delightful. He's absolutely adorable. Yes, the dog does seem lovely, but it's the not so lovely the Inspector Gregson that's playing on my mind, to be honest. The puppy! Toby the dog. Never mind the investigation, the dog. Can we talk about the dog? Where'd you find that little mutt then, Gina? Oi! Don't be so fucking rude, Roto. Slight overreaction, don't you think? He ain't no mutt, alright? Toby's... how'd they put it? Toby! Oh yeah, bona fide detective. Sorry? I give him a proper title and everything. It's Chief Inspector Toby to you. More senior than Inspector Gregson, is he? Oh, so he's the police dog, is he? The police recruits dogs now? I heard that they're already being used officially in Germany as part of the city policing. They're used for chasing criminals and such like. They have a wonderful sense of smell after all. I have a fairly good sense of smell myself as it happens. I can tell undergarments that have been freshly laundered for undergarments that haven't. TMI. That's nothing compared to this little fellow, Otto. Oh, really? According to what the boss said, well, Toby here's got a good weapons drawers. He could chase that scent to the other side of the world. What? To the other side of the world, you mean? I mean, yeah, dogs' noses are very powerful. He could swim? Mr. Naruto, I think you may have missed the point by rather a wide margin. I just can't believe this little dog has such an incredible skill. I'm telling you, Otto, there's gonna be more and more dogs that doing their bit for the police in the future. That is true. This is true. Yes, I agree. Right, one of these days they'll be barking orders at us, not the other way around. Oh dear, sorry Gina, I don't think I agree with vision quite that much. Well, anyway, whatever y'all think about, Toby here is Britain's first police dog. I found him down in East End the other day. Someone just chucked him out on the street. Oh wow. It's shitty. There you go. I knew she left him for somewhere. Oh, Gina is such a kind heart so around you to children and to animals. Alright, let's get back to the investigating. Gina? We were actually hoping that we could investigate the scene again. Yeah, right. If it's around here, you can do what you like. Oh, that's right, is it? Toby! I'm gonna be playing with my new friend here. Ah, yes, Toby. The machine expo must be at top of these stairs, I presume? I haven't actually seen it yet, so if you don't mind. Sorry, you can go up there, Suze. Oh. It's like I told Otto yesterday, but I ain't allowed near that wreck. What's it called again? Reason we ain't supposed to touch it. The special dispensation for scientific equipment act? Is that what you're thinking of? That's the one! That's why I only dumb lot are allowed to investigate it. What are they called again? The forensic something? The forensic investigation team, is that what you're thinking of? That's the one, yeah. But isn't the case that the special dispensation has been lifted? I think so. I don't really get it, to be truthful with ya. You're supposed to get permission for some big or other as far as I know. What was his name again? Lord Strange something. I'm not sure that's called right, Gina. I think you mean Lord Star, perhaps? That's the one, yeah. Apparently he's always watching the time or something. So without Lord Star's express permission, we can't investigate on the stage. Okay, I guess you're just supposed to go to Star in order to investigate. Okay, I'll just get Star's permission and then we'll go back to the scene here. Near the Crystal Tower. Watching someone get a neck is a lot of fun, actually. It was amazing when you showed that dodgy professor's dodgy experiment was the total fix. The dodgy professor's Pitagino is Mrs. Narholder's client. Yes, I started to wish he wasn't, though. It's the boss to feel sorry for. Sent off to do the impossible. What do you mean? He is supposed to arrest the other cove, ain't he? And in time tomorrow and all. You know, the dodgy engineer. What's his name again? Mr. Jubber, you mean? Inoch Jubber. That's the one, yeah. So the police are looking for this mysterious man with the black monocle. I guess they would be. It's putting too much to the boss, if you ask me. He says he's giving him a gut ache. Oh dear, but I do wonder if it's actually from all the fried food. So, Scully are trying to track down Mr. Enoch Jubber. I wonder if they had any luck. He's really funny looking, got two eyes, what don't match. Stole a glimpse of a picture of him earlier. I mean, I didn't actually pinch it or nothing, the old devil's got it. Sorry? Who? You know, the Skull Reaper was always glugging down glasses with that blood red plug. Okay, I guess I'm supposed to visit Van Zeeks later too. Ah, Lord Van Zeeks. He's always at it for me, that cove. Don't know what he's always calling about mine. Probably would have been a pretty good boss as it goes. Should I be the Reaper's apprentice in a detective's training? The way I see it, if the choice is between chip guzzling detective and chalice glugging TV god, you're equally badly off with both. I suppose you're right. I hadn't thought of it like that. Gotta be put that one to bed. Anyway, the point is everyone at the R is dead set on finding the fishy engineer, but there don't seem to be no clues to go on, so they're stuck. There's nothing that could lead us to Jubber at all. Yeah, okay, go to start then. Oh, who's that standing beside our Songheart? I wonder, I've never seen her before. The young champion of the court. Yeah, some success this morning, I understand. And you throw the entire government to disarray as a result. Oh! You mean because of Professor Harebrain's experiment? Sham science to be demonstrated London's great exhibition. The country's been made to look foolish, and now politicians are scrambling to respond. Lord Van Zeeks is in Whitehall as you see, giving an emergency briefing. Oh dear, I didn't mean to cause any trouble. None of this is your responsibility. The government is entirely to blame for having been taken in. The special dispensation that prevents the investigation to scene will be unveiled later today. Once that happens, my forensic investigation team will move in and deal with the scrap metal in no time. It's scrap metal now, is it? Oh no, she's hot. Oh, okay. Until later then. I have no idea how to voice her. Until later then, Lord Strongheart. I guess? Maybe? We'll go with that. Yes, thank you. Wow. Whew. Whew, lady. Whew. Okay. Who was that? That was Dr. Courtney sis. Oh, she was the coroner. Scotland Yard's esteemed chief coroner. She's leading the forensic investigation teams handling of this case. She was delivering a report about the victim, in fact. Oh, I see. About Mr. Asman. Following the outcome of the trial earlier, asked the coroner's office to reevaluate his findings. I don't have time to tell you what she concluded. If you want to know, we have to ask her directly. You can find her forensics laboratory. Can we visit her? Alright. Now, what are you here to see me about? I could give you 7 minutes and 39 seconds of my time, so it's not running quite so spectacularly anymore. Okay, I'm wondering if we could visit, Dr. Sis later after this. For that to happen, it's prudent that I embrace forensic science that everything has to offer. I first created a forensic investigation team a year ago, now unofficially of course, to pave the way. Goodness, a year ago? At next month's symposium, I intend to present the results of their work to the world. Once I do that, the House of Lords will be powerless to oppose the creation of full-scale forensic division. And once that happens, the position of Attorney General will be mine, and criminals will suffer dearly. What do you mean? For too long, these scoundrels have made a mockery of our legal system, false evidence and bribes. But this scum is about to run up and burn at the fires of hell. I intend to see to it personally. By creating the finest police world the world has ever known to protect the honor and our future. Look at his eyes, he means every word. Dr. Sis is an extremely reliable coroner. When I officially establish the forensic division of Scotland Yard, she will run it as my right-hand woman. Now then, speaking of the symposium, Miss Mikotoba. Oh, yes, my lord? Your father should be on the high seas as we speak, making his way here to represent the Empire of Japan. Yes, that's right. I'm deciding to arrive at the beginning of next month. Are you acquainted, Lord Strongheart? Whoops, he's changed voices. With Professor Mikotoba, I mean. It was many years ago now, but yes, I remember Dr. Mikotoba very well. Dr. Mikotoba. If my memory serves, it was some 15 years ago now that your father came to Britain as a visiting student. It was the year I was born, so yeah, 16 years ago in fact. Mikotoba is a young practitioner in forensic science, and Goku approached me as a young, promising judge. The punctiliosis. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to read that. Punctiliosis? Punctilios? I don't know. A politeness of the Japanese at the time impressed us greatly. Punctiliosness? Now that I wish to imply impoliteness or carelessness on your part anyway. I didn't think that you were. Dr. Mikotoba studied forensics in one of London's large hospitals. St. Signers, if I'm not mistaken. Dr. Sis was also there then, as it happens. Then Dr. Sis knows my father, does she? She was a young medical assistant at the time, so I doubt their paths crossed regularly, but I have no doubt they knew each other superficially. After all, Dr. Mikotoba was there studying his subject for some 6 years in total. 6 years? That's a long time to be studying abroad, isn't it? I lived with my grandmother in those years, so he left his newly born daughter behind and went overseas for 6 whole years? It was a rather turbulent time at home. Oh, perhaps father wanted a reason to get away. What do you mean? Why? Well, curious something was going on at the time. Oh boy, family stuff. I want to ask you about Lord Van Seeks actually. I heard that his older brother was killed some years ago by a mass murderer known as the Professor who targeted nobles and royalty, is that right? You Japanese are there a lot, you've done your research well. Yes. And you could say it was that very incident that gave rise to the Reaper. What? Why? When his brother, Clint Van Seeks, was murdered, it was just after young Barak had graduated from the University of London and become a prosecutor. When obvious criminals who managed to evade conviction in court started disappearing, rumors quickly spread throughout the capital. London started to say that wherever Barack Van Zeeks went, the ghost of his dead brother was far behind. Oh my word! So, Barack Van Zeeks isn't the Reaper, it's the ghost of his brother? Ever since that time, he became a very aloof figure in London's legal circles. Oh yes, or Strongheart. Go ahead. It's about Professor Hairbrain's experimental machine. We'd like your permission to examine the rings if possible. Are you well versed in, science then? Not science, in fact, you could say I was very aware of the subject at all until recently. Well, the special dissertation legally preventing investigation of the machine is currently being annulled. I think I just said that, but I'll say it again. Within a few hours, Dr. Sith's team of forensic experts will begin their own investigation. But I suppose until then, there's no harm in you looking at the wreckage, as long as you touch nothing. Thank you! Being able to look at it is better than nothing. And I'll be able to see it too. Yeah. Your time is up. You have to excuse me now, I'm afraid. My next engagement calls. We are extremely sorry to have troubled you when you're so busy, my lord. I have important matters to attend to in preparation for the symposium, you understand. Alright, bye. Move. A new location has been added. I wanna I wanna visit that. Whoa. I believe this is it. Dr. Sis's laboratory. That chemical smell really assaults the nose. I just plenty to assault the eyes in here too. It looks as though the doctor isn't here. But we're here now, so maybe let's do some sightseeing, don't you think? What a seasoned tourist you become, Mrs. Otto. We could just have a little look around. Being careful not to upset any restless souls. Why don't we examine? Why is it so quiet in here? Like, there's no music. It just makes the place so creepy. Because it's like blood on the table. Just like a skeleton. Is that an owl? Whoo. Whoo. A cool. Oh my god. That's so cool. Because I really like owls. And I really like crows and ravens. I just like birds in general. Actually, my least favorite like bird is the pigeon because it's so dumb. I just like smart birds. Oh boy. Really? Nothing particular to know. Really? This. Highly toxic. Ugh, that's worrying. Because there's sorts of things that look like salt and pepper shakers in there. Oh yes, and they actually say salt and pepper on them. The doctor probably spends a lot of time in this room, I suppose. Perhaps she has meals here sometimes. Life goes on, even when you're surrounded by dust. A table and a set of sharp tools. When you consider each in isolation, all looks quite innocent. It might be best not to ponder it too deeply. A really terrible sense of smell. I mean, I've heard that like people who work with perfume or like people who work with very strong smells, like they actually lose the ability to smell after a while because they keep like smelling these strong scents. So maybe her sense of smell like disappeared. Mrs. Otto, there's some things in the world that's perfectly fine never to know about. Ever. They're human organs in a preserving solution. Oh, so as I said, sugar fruit liqueurs are umeboshi, aren't they? No, it looks like organs to me. Looks like a intestine or something. What about the skeleton? I have been avoiding it for a while, but here's the skeleton. Do you have nothing to say about the skeleton inside, Mr. Otto? Mrs. Otto, can't you tell I'm trying very hard to avoid talking about the terrifying contents of the case? It's how I cope! I'll be sure to remember for now and then. I think I examined everything here, actually. Well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I examined everything here, but Might as well go to other places because he can't like oh shit because he can't like go to experimentation stage anyway. Even though he talked to start, what's he doing? He's oh my, the whole wall of the cell is covered in mathematical equations, and he's still writing some more now. Professor, sorry to interrupt. Oh, Mr. Naruto, and who's this young lady? My name is Susato Mikotoba. I'm Mr. Naruto's judicial assistant. It's a pleasure to meet you, Professor. Oh, if only I met such a refined young woman like you sooner! None of this would have happened. What do you mean? No, that's not logical. That makes no sense at all. Oh dear, I'm sorry my presence here upsets you. I owe you an apology too, Professor. I didn't manage to deliver what I promised you I would in court this morning. Oh no, the whole thing, the whole miserable affair, it all happened because I've been such a complete and utter clot. Professor Hairbrain? What have you been working on? Oh, haha, you mean that? Oh dear, how embarrassing. I was suddenly struck by an idea, you see, and I simply had to write it down. The wall was all I had at hand. Oh, is this some new hypothesis? Some new super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, maybe? No, actually, this is my autobiography. Your autobiography? Oh, I was denied by Albert Hairbrain. I found I could represent my own fortunes only odd numbers and ambitious to simultaneous equations. Really? I'm going to have to pay back all the loans they took for the kinesis machine, you see. Oh dear. So it's going to be a new serial publication for next month, part 1, odd births and odd upbringing. You can't beat the man's optimism, that's for sure. I see. Well, for now, would you mind if we talked a little more about the case? Oh yes! Of course, I've been working doing the numbers. I was by the pair of them. By Assman, and by the loop engineer driver. We're not going to sit through an explanation of all these equations, have we? Alright, converse. Everything I believed that would turn on his head. My research, Mr. Assman, the kinesis machine, my hypothesis even. I'm sorry it's come to this. There's really no other way. No, it's not your fault. I want to protect my work, but in the end, there's nothing worth protecting. It was never my intention to deceive anyone. I didn't want to trick the public. No, of course you didn't. But in court this morning I realized something. Oh? If you done something wrong without knowing it, you have still done something wrong logically. It makes no difference if you were aware of it or not. Ignorance is a poor excuse. The blame still lies within me. Oh, Professor. He believed in me this morning, you know? Barak did. He believed in my hypothesis. Well, I think that was just a necessary factor in the prosecution establishing his case. No, Barak wouldn't do something like that. I'm sure he genuinely believed it. Did he? I think I understand now why it was that he decided to take on a prosecution of my child, I mean. After the terrible accident happened, nobody would believe my hypothesis anymore. Not the police, not the prosecution, yeah. I feel as if it's also kind of finishing blow there. So if any other prosecution taking the case was anyone other than Barak, I'm sure the prosecutor would declare my hypothesis a complete and utter nonsense. And in that case, you would have been declared a fraud yourself, Professor. Exactly. What would have been a fate worse than death for me? But Barak insisted that was proper man of science from start to finish. You think that's why he... I know him very well indeed. He's an extremely kind-hearted soul. But that extremely kind-hearted soul spent all morning trying to paint you as a murderer, didn't he? I mean, that's his job. Well, immediately, the part of the analysis appears to have some flaws in it. And what about the whole Reaper side of things? How does that fit with the kind-hearted soul idea? Do you think he set out to trick me from the very start? I'm so sorry to say, that does seem like a yes. When I first met him, he introduced himself as a wealthy financier. He looked over the paper and said my work would benefit all humanity and must be pursued. He was so enthused, he was so empathic. But in reality, he was the mastermind of some vast criminal network, it seems. I still can't believe it. As the machine was essentially a set decoration for some stage magic. It probably didn't require a large amount of investment, actually. But the scale of it wasn't just some small trick. It was a very elaborate feat of deception. All young scientists full of hope, but their brilliant ideas full of zeal. But none of us have any money. Want to do research, but we can't afford it. Many of us take on barely legal part-time work to try to earn just a few measly pennies to carry on. To go through all that, only to be taken for a complete fool is so rotten to believe. It is, I agree. And that's why I have to find those responsible, bring them to justice. Mr. Aslan is no more, of course, which leaves only the engineer. Mr. Enochstrupper. Is he an engineer, or a magician, or a swindler? It was about a year ago when Mr. Aslan first brought Jubber to meet me in my laboratory. Since then, I met him many times to discuss details about the kinesis machine. But at no point did you have any inkling that was just an illusionist? Oh, he definitely wasn't just an illusionist. What do you mean? He was a wealth of deep scientific knowledge. There's no question that a man is a genuine scientist. It's instantly apparent in conversation. I see. But the wretched man deceived you, Professor, is unforgivable. We must do everything we can to find him and bring him to justice. Are there no more clues to give us to his whereabouts? I'm sorry, we only ever discussed the kinesis machine, nothing else. Although, just once. I did visit his workshop. What workshop? Jubber's enormous fabrication laboratory where he constructed my great machine. This is on his face. Why did you mention this before? Enochstrupper's workshop. Just every chance you can find a man there. Alright, where is the workshop? So you've been to Jubber's place of work then? Yes, just once, you understand. It was an enormous place, plenty of room to construct a kinesis machine, you see? Where can we find it? We have to go there once. Just a good chance that we find Jubber there. Well, yes, definitely. I'm sure you're not gonna want to hear this. But I have absolutely no idea where the workshop is at all. I'm so sorry! I was no more than half expecting that. You see, I was blindfolded in the carriage the entire way there. He blindfolded you? He won't be taking any chances then. The place is incredible, the pinnacle of modern engineering. And even the oil used is very best, a special French machine oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain. The indescribable scent of the imported oil, perfumes across the world should forget their secret formula use that instead. What do you think, Mrs. Otto? Ew, day machine for your next birthday. I've never used any kind of perfumes, Naruto. I'm not sure I'd like to start with that. I don't suppose you know even part of the workshop's address, Professor? You don't have a business card, Mr. Jubber, for example? The man is very yes I do. He gave me his business card once. It's right here, look. What? Let me see that. Throw etiquette to the wind, why don't you? Just like snatching it. Enochstrupper, engineer. I'm afraid this all says there's no address. No, oh well, I can't say I'm surprised. Still, this could be useful. Okay. I just had to examine this one little ass space. Look at this big thick book here. It appears to be an accounting ledger. It's a record of the forensic investigation team's spending, I think. Oh? What is it? It's clear that the team purchases various equipment and supplies on a monthly basis, but, well, one entry seems rather strange. Really? In what way? They're buying 500 scalpels every month? 500? They must be working really hard at dissecting corpse. I don't know. Judicial autopsies are only carried out in certain special circumstances, and scalpel blades can be sharpened too. 500 a month? Like a hospital? Why would you need that? Why would you need that much? What are you doing? Ah. Oh no, she's hot. Sorry, we I still want to ask you, but you weren't here, so. So you thought you'd snoop around? That's acceptable to you people from the east, is it? Well, what do you want? Our sergeant told us, you see, that it was used down the victim's body, or Mr. Aslan's body, I mean. So we can ask you about your findings on our Lord Sarah's advice. Very well. If the Lord Chief Justice has given his consent, I'll tell you what our investigation revealed. But when we're done, you must leave immediately. I don't know, I'm like trying out this voice, so... So, you want to know what the forensic investigation team determined for examination of the scene? The victim, Mr. Otto Asman, who disappeared from the experimentation stage amid an explosion, and Mr. Asman, who appeared moments later part way up the Crystal Tower, were without question one and the same person. That's the team's conclusion. But that can't be right. If it was an elaborate trick, we can only speculate about how it was carried out. Let's see, if two people who looked very similar to each other were involved, they could have made it appear as if one single person had switched places, couldn't they? Very true, but sadly in this instance, that was not the case. The man who disappeared and the man who subsequently appeared was the same person. The fingerprints of the scene make that quite evident. Fingerprints. They're not yet officially recognized as forensic evidence in the British justice system. But one day, they'll be used as an investigative aid as a matter of course. Oh my, but that would mean that the instantaneous kinesis actually took place. So where does that leave us? My team was tasked with investigating, not drawing conclusions. Instantaneous kinesis is impossible, and yet the body did move from one place to the other. This hasn't cleared anything up at all. It's made the whole thing even more of a mystery. I have no idea then. Mama, what is this? Where does she spring from? And did she just call the Dr. Bama? This is a liar, dear. Oh, hello, to meet you, but pleased to meet you. Yes, I'm a defense like Mama. Yes, can I cut this one off? What? No, no, you can't. Oh no! I've never seen inside an Eastern person before. I want to know what it looks like. Oh no, please get away from me. Of course you can't. It's a live specimen, as you can very well see. Oh god, I'm scared already. I think I just had a near-death experience. Oh dear, Mr. Naruto, you're as pale as a corpse. Don't sleep before I'm mistaken for one. I'm okay. This is one scary family. So what are you doing at the moment, Doctor? Keeping a close eye on things so no impertinent Easterners think they can look around my office. I mean, we just did though. Are there such impertinent Easterners around? How terrible. Yes, you. She doesn't mince her words, Mrs. Otto. I think it's perhaps it's time we left. Alright, bye! That was a very cold reception, but you're still hot. Okay. Okay, I think that'll be it for part 13, The Great Ace Attorney 2 Chronicles. Next time, I think... Yeah, I think we could, like, go visit the exhibition now. Or no. Oh, wait. I guess I'm supposed to talk to her about it. Okay. Okay, alright. Well, that'll be it for part 13 of Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolved. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.